Well, welcome aboard. Thanks so much for joining us today. I'm your host, Wesley Smith with treeservicedigital.com, and this is going to be your 2026 digital marketing growth plan. And we're going to go over everything you need to be doing on the internet, online and offline, actually, in some circumstances, to really grow and boost your tree service business and visibility and branding and everything in 2026. Things are kind of changing a little bit. A lot of things are still the same, but some things are kind of moving. There's a moving target with AI and a couple other related topics that we're going to kind of get into a little bit today. So thanks so much for joining us. Thanks for spending some time with us. We're going to have some good things that you'll be able to take back and implement in your business, or if you want a partner to take care of this for you and implement it for you, we're happy to help you with that as well. So let me go ahead and share the slides, and that way we will get on with the program. All right. It appears that the slides are showing. If you guys see the slides, if you could just pop in the chat box or the question and answer box, yes, you can see them. I believe you can. I'm just not seeing the little pop-up thing there to make sure it's showing there. But again, this is your 2026 digital marketing growth plan. And I appreciate you guys being on today. Let's see if we've got anybody. Just go ahead and pop in there. Yes, you can see the slides. I just want to make sure I'm not talking and you can't see anything but a background. I think it's there. I just wanted to confirm here. Let's see. Okay, it appears so. If not, just let me know. Looks like there is somebody in there. Chat disabled. Is it really? Huh, that's weird. Well, if you got a question, just pop it in the question and answer. I'm not sure why the chat would be disabled, honestly. It should be there. But we'll go ahead and get rolling. If you got any questions, pop it in the question and answer box. Apparently, the chat box is not working. So thanks for joining us. Your 2026 digital marketing growth plan. And we're going to get into the session today. We're going to set goals for 2026 for your tree service business, no matter where you're at in the country or around the world. If you are joining from outside the US or Canada, how many leads you need to hit your target based on your close rate in your business. The three fundamentals to marketing success, how to optimize your website for conversion in 2026 and beyond, the big picture of all the online marketing channels you should be tapping into to maximize your lead flow on the internet, and the latest trends that you need to focus on in 2026. And we're also going to develop a custom action plan based on where you are now and what you need to do right now to get to your destination next year. Who am I and why should you listen to me? Well, I've been in internet marketing space for over 13 years at this point, with a previous business that I owned with my mom, I still own, and then now in digital marketing full time. I'm an author of 2 books in the tree service space, The Accelerated Growth Roadmap for Tree Service Companies. If you want a copy, go to our website. You can find the link there to get your free copy of the book. And then also our first published book was How to Win with Internet Marketing for Tree Service Contractors about 5 years ago. But we specialize in tree service and arborist digital marketing. That's all we do. Expert web development and digital marketing team. We've worked with over 150 tree service companies across the United States, and we know what works to increase visibility and grow overall business. We've got lots of data across all those campaigns that we leverage for our clients. So, again, we've got dozens and dozens and dozens of tree service companies that we work with today. Some of the logos there. And you can go to our website, treeservicedigital.com, and the testimonials page. We've got video testimonials, written testimonials. If you have any questions, also you can fill out our contact box. But this is all we do, right? All we do is tree service marketing all day, every day. So you can leverage that with our data and just experience reliability in the industry and in the niche. So again, let's get into your 2026 digital marketing growth plan so you can see for yourself exactly what it takes to kind of grow your business and what all levers you need to pull. So number one, we got to kind of know where we're going. So let's set clear goals, right? So that's kind of the first step. Let's set clear goals so that you can get clear on where you want to go. So maybe write down, what are your goals for 2026? If you've got a piece of paper or whatever, or you take notes on your computer, what is your goal next year? Maybe this year you did $1.1 million. Maybe you did $800,000. And your goal for 2026 is, I want to double. I want to do 1.5 million, 1.6 million from 800,000. Or maybe you did 1.1 and you want to do over 2 million this year. Put that goal down. Those big, hairy, audacious goals. I think there's like a big, hairy, there's like a synonym or acronym for that. But if you have a big goal and you fall a little bit short, so be it. You still increased, you still grew, right? I like this I like to put a different success quote here, but action is the foundational key to all success. And that's from Pablo Picasso. But the last thing you want to be in your business is this sailboat, the equivalent to this sailboat, just sitting out at sea, calm winds. You don't know which way you're going to drift in your business. You're just not sure, right? You don't know if it's going to go east, west, south, or north. Don't really know. And that's kind of where you don't want to be in business. You want to be like this sailboat here with strong winds at your back, pushing you to your destination, exactly where you want to go. Like you want to grow, you want to double, you want to grow by 50%, 70% next year. This is what we need to implement and put in place to get there. And that's when you have a clear roadmap and it's just, it makes you feel better. You're just, you know where you're going. You have a target, you have a destination, you have a goal, something to work towards. So let's write down your current snapshot. Where are you at right now with like average monthly revenue, or maybe you want to do quarterly revenue, however you want to kind of look at it. Cause I know there's ebbs and flows within the year with tree service being outdoor services. Typical number of jobs you run per month. And this way you kind of can see where you're at right now and then put together the plan for kind of where you want to go and how you want to increase. And so what other key metrics you may want to look at is like your average invoice, your average ticket amount paid, your average conversion in the field. So if you go on 3 estimates, do you get 2 out of 3? Do you get 1 out of 3? Or if you go on 10 estimates, do you get 4 out of 10 of those approved? Where you move forward with the work, you get 6 out of 10. And we've talked to clients that usually are closing 7 or 8 out of 10 they go on. And so sometimes that's an indication that you can go up on your pricing, right? Things like that to look for. The number of crews. How many crews do you have currently, and how many crews do you want? Moving forward. So what's your long-term vision for next year, the whole 12 months in 2026? What do you want your annual revenue to be? How many crews do you want running, and why? Why would that make a difference for you? So maybe write those things down there. All right. So what is your goal for 2026? And how many leads will you need monthly to get there? Well, let's take a look. So there was a Harvard study, and if you've seen our content or videos in the past, you may have seen this, but it's very compelling. It really makes a lot of sense. It hammers home having goals. 1979, there was an interview of grads from Harvard. 84% had no specific goals. They just kind of graduated, didn't really know where they were going, just going to kind of be like that sailboat floating in the sea. 13% had goals, but they didn't really write them down or follow them or try to, accomplish them. 3% had clear written goals and plans to accomplish those goals. And the results, the 13% of the class who had goals were earning on average twice as much as the 84% who had no goals at all. So it just kind of tells you, like, if I have goals and you follow them and you kind of go work towards those goals, you're going to be a lot more successful. Even more staggering, the 3% who had clear written goals were earning on average 10 times as much as the other 97% put together. So if you write down your goals and keep implementing and putting bite-sized chunks together every day, every week, every month, every quarter towards your goals, you're going to get there, right? But you just got to keep looking at it. You got to kind of know what your goals are. So let's get into your marketing strategy to help you accomplish your goals. So we have this plan called the Accelerated Growth Model, and it's what we've put together where we found is the most successful for tree service companies who really want to grow their business and not just stay stagnant. So, number one, you've got to attract customers to your business over here on the left-hand side. So that's online search, paid advertising, offline marketing like billboards, direct mail, yard signs, wrapped trucks, things like that. You want to attract customers to your business, calling you, scheduling appointments, scheduling estimates. Next, you want to convert those people that do call you and get in touch with you, right? That's the convert status of yours. So your website converts them, social media converts them because they see how you work, they see your personality, they see the people side of the business, which really helps. And we'll go through that too. And then the follow-up, that helps convert people too, because sometimes the first time they're not ready, but they will be soon. And so if we touch them multiple times over the next few months or few weeks, they're going to eventually kind of fall out for you, and you're going to be able to go out there and get that work done. And the next is maximize the revenue from each customer, right? You want to automate things with text marketing, email marketing to those previous customers and people you've been on appointments with, review, repeat, refer. And then you want to track everything as well. So this way you're monetizing all the people that you have been in touch with in the past, given estimates to, touched with your business, given an estimate, talked to, spoke to, all these people are in your database, right? And so eventually they're going to need tree services again, trimming, removal, land clearing, whatever it may be. So you want to make sure you're constantly marketing to those folks. And that's what this side is with the automation. It's going to really help long term maximize your customer value. Instead of just a one time pop with a tree removal, you may get $5,000 now. But what about in another year or 3 years when they need another $5,000 job or a $1,200 job or whatever? If you don't automate the systematic follow up with all of those previous customers, they're going to find somebody else because they're going to forget who they worked with 3 years ago, type thing. So that's why we go through that. The accelerated growth roadmap is pretty much the same thing we just looked at in the other slide, except it just kind of drives it home here. So you drive the leads through different channels, you maximize conversion from the website, your reputation, your automation, and then you want to optimize the results, like your total spend that you're spending, find out what's working, what's not. That way you can accelerate what's working and decelerate or slow down what's not, or just turn off altogether, right? So you want to know your average cost per lead and your return on investment with all of your marketing. So where do you need to focus the most, right? Dream big, set goals, and take action. That's what it's all about. That's really what separates the people that are at $5 million a year in their tree company, $10 million a year in their tree company. Maybe you don't even want to get that far. That's fine. Maybe you're at 500,000 and you want to get to $1 or $2 million in revenue and you're good there, right? Whatever that is, it's always different for everybody. So dream big, set goals, and take action. And we go through the digital dominance method. You may have seen this as well on other webinars, but basically your website, reputation, and everything else is your foundation for your business. That's where everybody's going to end up at some point. So it needs to be good. Your reviews, website, all that stuff needs to convert. Number two is paid ads. Got to run those. Those are very, very good. Number three, retargeting. So constantly branding your company to people who have seen you and touched you in the past on your website and things like that. Paid online directories. There's other directories that you can get leads on, right? Yelp, Angie's List, Thumbtack. Say what you will about any of those directories, but they are an option if you want more leads at some point, if you really want to grow. Number five, repeat and referral business, email marketing, text marketing, social media posting. Number six, pay per lead. There's pay per lead services out there for tree service and lead flow and things like that. Social media advertising, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, things like that. And then you can also offer your previous customers a referral program. Hey, if you refer over your friends, family, or neighbors, have an incentive, right? And they spend over $1,000 with us here at XYZ Tree Service, we'll give you a $100 gift card to Amazon or tickets to the baseball game or football game or something like that. It's always a good incentive. And then last but not least, direct mail. This is how you really dominate a local zip code or 5 to 7 zip codes, however many you want to target, keeping your windshield time down and then branding and becoming that tree company in that local area. So all these things help you get to where you want to go if you stay consistent with them. So number one, is your website set up to convert visitors who find your website and click on it to callers, people who call your business and are looking for an estimate or an appointment. So, you want to have good branded trucks, make it look legit, right? A pop-up with reviews is always nice. Like every time they're scrolling, a little review pops up. Hey, so-and-so just gave us a 5-star review. That's nice for converting. Buttons to take action, right? Give us a call today, request a free estimate button, contact us now button, stuff like that. Just where people know how to get in touch with you if they want to. So the best practice is typically, the logo highly visible in the top left. The menu here looks different on mobile, but this is just showing you the desktop version here. And then also the click to call button here. Click to call, showing the website, showing your phone number. And then also there'll be a click to call phone number on the mobile scroll too. Because, essentially your website is the hub. So everybody's going to end up on your website no matter where they find you, right? So they find you from direct mail. Maybe you don't have your website address on the direct mail piece, but they're going to go Google search your business name and then click on your website, right? So they're going to find you from all these different things that you're doing, newsletter, email, billboards, TikTok, Facebook, Google My Business, SEO, right? Radio ads. People are going to find you and they're going to go to your website at some point. So it's got to be good. It's got to convert well. And so why is conversion so important? Well, let's look at two separate scenarios of two separate tree service companies. They both get 100 leads, right? This one tree service company gets 100 leads, but they only convert about 3 out of 10, about 30%. There's no follow-up. They miss a lot of calls. They call people back 3 hours later, stuff like that. They might book 30 jobs out of 100 leads. 100 leads times 30% is 30 book jobs. Let's say the average invoice is 1150. $1,150. Well, 30 jobs times 1150, that's 34,500 in revenue, $34,500 in revenue. Not bad, right? That's a pretty good bit of revenue. Let's look at the other company that does convert 7 out of 10 with really good follow-up, answers the phone live. If they miss a call, they call them back within 30 seconds or a minute. There's automated follow-up, jobs booked 70 out of 100, 70 book jobs, average ticket same, 1150. They then book 70 jobs times 1150. They're going to make $80,000 on the same amount of marketing ad spend that they spent, this other person spent, right? So that's over double the revenue because they're very good on the phone. They schedule the appointments, they answer live, they get back with leads really quickly. And we see this all the time. There's always companies that are good, and there's always companies that could improve, and there's always companies that aren't so good at answering the phone or taking calls or getting with the leads. So that's why it's very important. So how do we optimize for conversion? Well, there's 12 critical elements to enhance conversion with your tree service business, right? Speak to your target customer. What are their fears and frustrations? Why should they choose you? Be real, use authentic images, use video and multimedia elements. If you have it, it's really good. Website welcome video, videos for each one of your services, leverage social proof like Facebook, Instagram, posting, things like that. People can see that you're a real company. You're doing work. This is what you just did yesterday because you posted about it. Get the basics in order, things that we just went over on the website, phone number in the right-hand corner, ensure that there's a web form customers can fill out or call, and then add credibility, your BBB logo, Angie's List, things like that. Use special offers and coupons if they might have an incentive to do that. Make sure your website's mobile optimized because about 80% of search now is on a mobile smartphone. Start giving clients the option to book online or call you. And then website speed matters. Make sure it's not slow and just keep spinning when people click on your website. And engage via SMS and phone with marketing automation. So another example, another client we have here has their branded trucks on the header photo of the website and their spider lift with their bucket branded, everything else. Emergency tree service authorization form. Request a free estimate. Give us a call today at the phone number. It's right there listed. Just make sure it's really good and it looks personable too. You could even have meet the team, on the About Us page. Really good. Really helps with conversion too. This is kind of that example. So this is one of our other clients, and they've got a Meet Our Team page. You can click through and then read about the person that works there, right? And it's just really shows that the business is a personable company, and people like to do business with people they trust, like, and can see, right? They don't want everybody hidden behind the website or can't see who the owner is, can't see who the office manager is, can't see who the arborist, the salesperson, the crew. It just really helps. It really helps convert more of those people. And see, this is like a multimedia video where one of our clients was on, I think this was in Houston, after a storm came through, and they got interviewed, by the media and talking about, tree removal and the dangers and stuff like that. So this is great to put on your website to show that you've got this very trustworthy news channel that did an interview with you. And then you want to showcase your reviews. Like this is a snapshot of one of our clients' website pages that shows all their recent reviews. And people can just drink from the fire hose about how great you are as a tree service company when you have all these reviews listed on your website. It's like all these people are saying you're a great company. The chances are that person is going to call you. And that's what you want, because that could be a $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 paycheck, right? Could be a small one too. There's all mixed bag of leads that come through, but you want to get that call. So another example, get the fundamentals right, the website, request a free estimate. This is how it should look on mobile. And on the mobile view, you can see right here, you can see all the same things, request a free estimate, give us a call, but there's a click to call button right here. So that way, if somebody's on their phone, they just click that with their thumb, and then it just pulls up the phone pad, and then they hit dial. And then they're right on the phone with your office. That's really important for mobile devices. So I would highly encourage you guys to put that on your website if you don't have that. It really helps. Just that alone can get you a few more calls out of the same amount of visitors that you're already getting on your website. So is it mobile friendly and responsive? There's probably 5 billion people now on mobile phones. 3 out of 5 consumers search for local businesses on their smartphone. And Google reports that 40% of mobile consumers turn to a competitor's website after a bad mobile experience. We don't want that. We don't want that, guys. We want people calling you when they get to your website, right? We don't want them flopping off the hook. It's kind of like being a fisherman. You put your line in the water, you got that fish on the hook, you're reeling it in, and then they flop off. Very, very frustrating. You don't want that. So what are the takeaways? What did you learn? What did you notice? Anything you'd like to share? Or if you got a question, pop it in the Q&A box and I can answer it for you or try the best I can to answer it based on what we've been doing. All right, well, moving on to the next thing. Does your website come up in search? So if you go to Google right now, or Bing or Yahoo or any search engine, but typically Google is where about 90% still go. Go there and just type in your business name, XYZ tree service, whatever you are, Arbor Pro Tree Service, whatever the name of your business is, and just see if you show up. If you dominate that whole search page, that's great. That means you've got good website content. You've got a good Google business profile over here on the right that shows up. If it doesn't show up, maybe you're just a newer company and that's okay. You don't have enough content online, haven't been online long enough, just haven't gotten things kind of going yet where everything's just exists on the internet. But what you want is your business profile on Google to show up here on the right-hand side with your reviews, rating, and all that stuff. And you want your website to show up as well. And sometimes you're bidding on keywords on the paid search where your local service ad will show up as well. And that's good too. That's just all branding. When somebody searches you, boom, there you are in 4 different places, right? That's what you want. That way people are more likely to give you a call, right? So does your website come up in search? Does SEO still matter? You may ask that now. With AI and with paid ads and all that stuff, yes, it still matters a great deal. And when somebody does a search now, tree trimming Atlanta, Georgia was this example right here. You got the paid ads, and then you've got the Google Maps. Well, in the Google Maps right here, that still gets about 60 to 65% of all the clicks on the first page. And it's just super important to work on your reviews, getting tons and tons of Google reviews. Go look at whoever the top 2 or 3 rated and have the most reviews, tree companies in your market, and try to get at least as many as them or more. That's going to pretty much ensure that you're top in the maps here and that you're going to get more calls. Now, there's some other components that help rank in the maps. There's uploading images, optimizing the profile, making sure your categories and service areas are right. All your services are listed, posting on there for activity, all those things. But the lion's share of who shows up on top nowadays is really review generated and ratings. So if you get a lot of reviews, that's going to help you, right? And then, same thing over here, right? 67% on the first 5 listings. These are going to get most of the calls right here. So yes, SEO still matters a ton, and you don't want to rely on pay-per-click alone, right? So this is kind of a example of one of our reports for a client. So they got 89 leads on their website. SEO total investment. Let's say, for example, this one was $1,600 per month just for the SEO side of things. But with the 89 leads, and then you divide it by the $1,600, the lead was around $18 per lead. So a way lower cost per lead once you do get ranked at the top than pay per click, than local service ads. Those are still great lead flow channels, but you're just going to pay a little bit higher cost per lead because you're paying to play. You're paying to be at the top, which is okay because, hey, those jobs could be, again, like we talked about before, $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 and more. So you still want to pay for those leads as well. But this is a great channel. Once you get there, it may take you a year, 6 months, 2 years, who knows how competitive your market is. But once you get there, you're there and you're kind of super glued to the top and you're going to start getting a lot more calls. So live example, right? Tree removal, Birmingham, Alabama. One of our clients is #1 in the maps. I mean, they got over 1,000 reviews and a high rating, but you can see that's just very powerful to be at the very, very top. That's going to get you way more calls. I can tell you if you're in this like top 2 or 3 in the maps, you could, for example, depending on the population density in that market, but you're talking about, let's say you get 100 calls a month by being here. If you're below the fold, maybe 6th, 8th, 10th down, it could be a difference of like 20. You could only get 20 calls. So you're talking about a difference of like 60 to 80 calls by just being at the top right here. So it's really good to make sure you work on getting reviews and working with a competent agency that's going to know how to get you up at the top there, because it really helps. It can change your business within a few months. Is your site properly optimized? So now we're going back to the website. These are things that help with your organic rankings and SEO. Does each one of your pages have a title, like Tree Service Atlanta, Georgia? tree trimming Los Angeles, whatever that page is for. Do you have an H1 header, like the first paragraph header? Is it bold and does it have those same similar keywords in it? That really helps as well. H2 headers, H3 headers, all those different things help because you want to keep telling Google what this website's about, why you need to rank it. Geotagged images, over 1,000 words of content on most pages and clearly written with helpful information, not just SEO purposed content. Off page, so off your website, you want to claim and optimize the Google business profile. You want to get lots of directories and citations listed across the web, like Yelp, Hot Pages, Super Pages, all those different ones you can get submitted into. And get reviews, right? Use one of these best-in-class review services like Nice Job or Bird Eye, Customer Lobby, or something like that. It's going to help you automate your reviews, and that's going to help you get way more reviews if you automate it, because then you don't even have to put any effort into it. They just come in after the invoices get paid every day, right? The reviews just keep coming in. And we'll show you that too. That's an automation process. And then build backlinks back to your website with press releases of like your jobs, something you did cool for the city or a car dealership or a church, that everybody would recognize. Those are big time, like press release opportunities where you can really show the public what you've done. And then, syndicate that content. That really helps. So this is kind of the same thing, building the website links and authority that really helps the search engines and AI now determine that your business is mention worthy. Like they want to bring you up. They want to show you because you get this other content off your website mentioning your website. And that's what they want to see. So he who has the best quality links typically wins. So on page, to recap here, pages for each service on your website, not just a service page listing all your services, but an individual page for tree trimming and pruning, tree removal, land clearing, tree and plant healthcare. Like those types of pages all need a separate page with a description and images and a write-up of the content. Google business profile, you want to claim and optimize your map listing, and you want to get directories submitted with your business name, address, and phone number all across the web. Right? And you want ongoing content. You don't want to leave your website dormant where it just sits there. It needs to be having constantly published content on the website. And usually that's a blog article or job description case studies or something like that to where you can continually pump out new pages because you can't just keep updating the homepage of the website. That just, there's not a, you can't put enough on there, right? So you got to create new pages. But you want to get that authority and trust built, backlinks back to your website. All that stuff really helps. So the next thing is too, which is a big buzzword. So I wanted to mention this in a slide. Are you showing up in ChatGPT and other AI platforms like Gemini? If you're showing up on Google, chances are Gemini is going to pick up that and show you over there as well. So that's going to be relevant for Google. But there's ChatGPT, there is Perplexity, there is Claude, there's a couple of a number of other ones, and they're all kind of doing the same thing. They don't have any content currently on their platform. They are pulling content from the data houses like Google, Bing, Yahoo. So anything that you've published online with your website, reviews on Google, Yelp, any of these Facebook, whatever, that exists on another cloud. But the AI platforms are pulling that information and aggregating it for the people doing the search. So chances are, if you got good SEO, good website, good ratings and reviews, and you're working and concentrating on all the things that have mattered up until now, you're still going to show up very well on these AI platforms like ChatGPT and stuff. And we're tracking this. Like we have, Google Analytics and stuff installed on websites. We're seeing how many people are coming from ChatGPT, Gemini, things like that. And it's still a very small percentage, but you want to be everywhere. You want to be found everywhere. So when your content is good and picked up by search engines, the AI overviews at the very top of the page, the AI summaries, and like ChatGPT, they're going to showcase it as well, right? Because they're already made their mind up. This is the best content on the Google page. So that a lot of times transfers, most of the time, transfers over to these AI platforms. So for Google Maps, get the most Google reviews in your local area and crush the AI tools like ChatGPT because a lot of people are searching, what is the best tree service company near me here in, Duluth, Minnesota, or whatever they search. So it's like a whole sentence they did a search for. But since they said the best tree companies, ChatGPT is going to bring in the most highly rated on the Google Maps tree services, right? So they're still pulling in data from Google and just regurgitating it all for that person to easily be able to call or access it. That's all they're doing. So all of the things that we've been doing for the last, I don't know, 10 to 15 years for organic search, website, SEO, a lot of that stuff is still very, very relevant. But the one big thing is just getting reviews, just really working on how to automate that. Because if you're only getting one review a month or a couple here and there a year, you've got to work on that if you really want to do well on these other platforms. So hopefully that clears that up. These are viable channels, but it's not as big as it was, or some people think it is right now, not for local business search. Now, here's an example I did in ChatGPT just to kind of show you. So I am looking for the best tree service companies to call in Alpharetta, Georgia. This is a suburb outside of Atlanta. So I did a search in ChatGPT just to show you a screenshot. I'm looking for the best tree service companies to call in Alpharetta, Georgia. Here are some of the top-rated tree service companies you can call in or near Alpharetta, Georgia. I picked providers with strong reviews, broad services, removal, trimming, emergency work, and local reputation to help you choose, depending on your needs. Example, do you need large tree removal, emergency work, routine maintenance, blah, blah, blah. So ChatGPT is trying to spit out, a good quality result for what I searched for specifically. And so they recommended these 5 companies right here: Georgia Tree Company, Caldwell Tree Care, 72 Tree, Northside Tree Professionals. And guess what? These guys have the top rating and the most reviews typically on Google because I cross-checked all of them. And so that's what they're pulling in the majority of the time. And if you have good content on the website that's helpful. So that's what they're going to pull in, right? And we've already kind of matched this up in most every market. This is typically what they're pulling in. Now, for local business search, it's just not as big as it could be for like maybe e-commerce or things like that, right? So still everything that we've been doing is still relevant today. So what are the takeaways, right? What did you learn? Is there anything you want to write down or remember for your team or for later after this webinar? And if you got any questions, pop them on in that question and answer. Happy to answer them. All right. Next, are you ranking on the Google map? And again, a lot of things we've been talking about are going to carry over to these slides right here. So are you getting the most reviews? Are you posting images on there all the time? Like, you could upload 20 or 30 images a month, and after a year or two, you've got 500 or 1,000 images on your Google business profile, which also helps with ranking at the top, just all that activity. So again, this is one of our clients, Tree Removal Birmingham. You got #1 ranked here. And look at it. They're absolutely boat racing, blowing the doors off everybody else in the market with reviews, right? And they got it automated. So every time a client pays a QuickBook invoice, that customer goes into a review automation. These guys right here are getting 30 to 50 5-star reviews per month at this point. So that's 400 or 500 reviews a year. That's huge. So that's how you get ranked on the Google Maps. So do Google Maps still matter? 45% of the clicks and calls are going to go to just the Google Maps at the top up here. So yes, it matters a great, great deal. Yes, Google Maps still matter. 100% it matters. And here's just a couple of examples over a 30-day period that a couple of our clients had. So this customer here of ours in 1 month, 133 actions on their Google Map listing. Now, again, some of these are searches for their business name directly, right? XYZ Tree Service, Atlanta, Georgia, right? So then they find it, boom, they click, then they call. But that's only a small percentage. The rest of these are going to be actual leads from people typing in tree service near me, tree service Atlanta, things like that. So 71 calls. I mean, could your business use 71 calls? It's pretty good, right? You're going to close a lot of those people too, especially if you get a high rating. This is another one. And look, 54 other ones clicked on the website and visited the website. That means a bunch of those turn into leads as well. This is another client screenshot in a 30-day period. 135 actions, 66 visited the website, 60 direct calls. So, that many calls is huge, right? And then visited the website, another 66, probably got another 20 leads on the website, if I had to guess. That's 1/3 of those. So that's big too. That's massive. All right, so we got a question here. Jose, have you ever seen someone that works full-time with a job and trying to build their tree company? Yeah, you have to do that on the side, kind of spend some part-time on the side, maybe building up that customer base. But a lot of people do start that way. You just have to make sure it's not a conflict of interest with your current, employer. You don't want to be going on estimates and then, going to that customer's house later and doing it on the side or something like that. That wouldn't be good. But yeah, I mean, you can build it up on the side, doing work around your neighborhood or, different places if you have that. Certainly can. Thanks for the question. So here's our proven formula for getting ranked in that top three on the Google Maps. You got your directories that you want to get put into. Make sure you get listed in all the directories. You want to get your website on-page content correct. That's called on-page SEO. So all the wording on your website, the imagery, the journey, taking them to the contact page, clicking to call, things like that, filling out free estimate forms. Google Business Profile, make sure that's highly optimized. Images, reviews, categories, services, postings, answering reviews, things like that. And you can see, right, these are some of our clients with the most reviews. So is your company optimized to rank on the Google Maps? So just to recap, have you claimed and verified your Google business listing, right? Do you have the login? Have you properly optimized the Google business profile? Are you on all the major online directories, Yelp, Hot Pages, Super Pages, and all that stuff with consistent name, address, and phone number? How many online reviews do you have? Do you have a proactive strategy for getting new reviews every day after jobs and invoices have been paid? Are you posting to your Google business profile weekly and responding to questions and responding to those reviews? That really helps too. It shows Google and the search engines that you care about your business and you want to respond to reviews, whether they're good or bad, right? And if you do that, they're going to help you with that. So, we have an agency account with Nice Job, which is a very good program for getting automated reviews. You can sync it up with QuickBooks, Jobber, a couple other CRMs. So every time an invoice is paid, it triggers the review automation. You can also upload an entire customer database in here. We've gotten a couple of clients over 100 five-star reviews. One client, 300 five-star reviews because they had several thousand contacts that they had not sent requests to give a review to. So we did it, and boom, their Google Map is number one now, after all those reviews. All right, so next we're going to get into, are you taking advantage of paid marketing opportunities? So we've been talking about organic website showing up, Google Maps showing up. Those are things that aren't pay-per-click type environment. It's just, content driven and review driven. Now we're talking about paid ads, right? So now when you do that same search we were talking about before, tree removal near me type thing, you can see here at the top, these are sponsored. So anytime you see this word sponsored, that's typically a Google ad. So a local service ad, these are the pay per call ads right here, or you can get a message lead, or the pay per click, right? And so these are Google local service ads, the traditional Google pay per click ads. You've got Bing ads that are Bing and Yahoo search engine. Those work pretty well too, depending on the area. You've got Nextdoor now as a paid ad platform, and Facebook ads. You've probably been trying to run those before as well, right? Some are better than others, and some are better than others just because the market's different in every area. So it's good to kind of test them a lot of times. Can Google ads and pay-per-click really drive ROI? That's the big question, right? I'm going to be paying for these leads, paying for these clicks, paying to be seen. Excuse me. Are they going to help me make more money with the money I'm investing? So I don't know, is getting an 8x or 10x ROI good enough for your business? And this is also going to be different per season, right? Like we're in the business, we know like in the dead winter time, especially up north, there's going to be a slowdown and there's going to be less search volume. So it's not going to be consistent during those months. But typically March or April through the holidays are going to be a good indication of what can happen. So, let's say you get 80 leads off of Google Ads and you convert 40% of those. Right, so that's 32 book jobs. Average ticket's $1,200. 32 jobs times $1,200 is $38,000 in revenue. Right, so that projected return on investment is 8.2x, and this is a customer or client of ours example of their paid ads ROI. So they spent about $4,700 on those leads, but they made $38,400 in revenue. So it was a big multiple of what they spent for the investment. So a good ROI. Of course, they got cost and expenses associated with that, but there's still a profit at the end of the day after doing all that work. So yeah, it does make sense. And sometimes, in the wintertime, you may want to scale that back on the pay-per-click side, but we always suggest keeping your local service ads going because local service ads, you're only paying if you get a lead. You don't pay per click like you do on traditional Google ads. So might as well keep those running because if you don't get any calls, you're not paying anyway. That's what we always suggest. So here's why most pay-per-click campaigns fail that we've seen from current customers who used to use somebody else or try to do it themselves. They've set up only one ad group for all the services, right? Like you've got just one ad for your tree service company, no matter if somebody types in tree removal near me, tree service near me, tree trimming near me, land clearing near me, tree healthcare. All of those different searches need a different ad to cater to that search. So if you've only got one ad, it's not going to resonate with all those people that are doing the search, if that makes sense. You want a specific ad to show up for a specific search. So if they type in tree removal near me, we want an ad that says safest tree removal company, call now, or affordable tree removal, call now, something like that. And then some people are just not using Performance Max campaign for branding. So really good add-on to your Google Ads campaigns are what's called PMax or Performance Max, where it basically shows your ads in all these different places online where people can just see you all the time. It's good for branding, it's good for awareness, and that helps your other ads convert better too. I've been using this for quite some time now. And some people don't use specific text ads and landing pages for groups of keywords, just like I mentioned before. And maybe there's no strong call to action or offer on the landing page, which you want. You want to make sure you give them an enticing reason to give you a call. Call now. Remind them. Get a free estimate right now. Put your information in right now. We'll call you right away. Something like that. And then the next one is Google local service ads, right? So the same search, tree removal near me. These are the sponsored results at the top. These are either A, they can message your business and you get an email with a new message, or they call. The preference is always a direct phone call, right? But some people out there in the consumer world at their house or at their business, they don't want to talk on the phone, right? The younger generation, they're staring at their phones all day and all that stuff. So you want to have the ability for them to just message you from this Google platform. And these are good. Sometimes they're spam leads. Most of the time they're real leads, right? So you get back with them right away and then you can schedule the appointment. So Google local service ads are good too. So are you taking advantage of paid online marketing? We'll go through a few of those. Are you running Google local service ads with a maxed out budget? Again, you don't pay for leads unless you get them. So if you're comfortable, maxing that budget out with your local market, that's a good thing to do because, you only pay for the calls. Are you running retargeting ads to your unconverted leads, right? So every time somebody visits your website, clicks on your Google ad, clicks on your Facebook, Instagram page, wherever, they're going to see you again over and over again if you're running retargeting ads to those people. It's kind of like a digital billboard strategy, very powerful for converting people after the first time. Are you running Google ads or the traditional pay-per-click? Are you strategically targeting with specific ad groups, text ads, and landing pages? Do you have conversion tracking in place to track the leads back to the ad group keywords so you know exactly where these people are coming from? Very important. Are you running targeted Facebook ads to your ideal prospect base? Do you have a premium ad on Angie, Yelp, City Search, YP? There's other things you can do there, but we just mention it just so you know there's options too. Are you buying pay-per-lead services? Home Advisor, Angie, Thumbtack, etc. So what are the key insights for the paid ads? Are you running paid ads in your business? These are things, again, we're going to show you so that you can, quickly ramp up your lead flow in the coming year and really get more revenue and more jobs booked, because that's really the name of the game. The more people that call and see your business and need service, the better off you're going to be, right? The more estimates and the more sales appointments you go on, the more jobs you're going to sell ultimately. It's the same in every business with that. You need a lot of leads coming in so that you can, subsequently do the work and grow your revenue. So if you have any questions, just pop them in the Q&A box there, and we'll get moving along to the next section. Next is, are you active on social media? This is one of our clients, Southern Tree Pros. When they're on social media, they're posting job photos, we do hashtags and things like that, but it's showing this business in action. It's showing that this is a real people business, right? And people want social proof. They want to see people online. They want to see videos. That's just going to help them call you over the competition. So when you're posting on all these social media channels, or at least a handful of them, it's going to equal more repeat business and more referrals, period, right? There's over 5 billion users on social media. So just post on there. This is our social media page. We're posting every single day, either a reel or a story or a posting or a new webinar like we're doing today. You can do the same thing for your local market. It's the same thing. People are going to be on Facebook. They keep seeing your postings and your videos about tree service work. They're going to reach out and they're going to call when they need help. So it's really, really good to do. And it's free if you do it yourself, right? Of course, if you're making the revenue and you've got income and revenue coming in, you've got to carve some of that out to make sure it gets done and maybe pay somebody to do it, either an in-house marketing team or a person or a marketing agency that knows what to do. But you got to get that going, get that done so people keep seeing you over and over again. It's really important. Next is social media is big. Next is, are you leveraging email marketing, right? Are you emailing your customer database? Or when somebody fills out a form on your website, are you shooting them a quick email automatically, a text message automatically? Email marketing is powerful. So there's a lot of tools out there you can use for that. But as you do your business, as you go do estimates, as you grow your company and you keep touching people in your community, you're going to build up a big database of name, email, phone numbers, right? You're going to have a big database of those if you're providing estimates. Maybe you're using Jobber, Arbostar, Single Ops, Arbor Gold, whatever you're using, right? That's going to build up hundreds and then thousands of contacts. When you send out an email blast to 6,000 contacts, you're going to have people respond that need you to come out and give them an estimate, right? They need more work done, or they're going to refer you to their neighbor. So it's really important to do that and not just always be looking for new customers. So here's some of the tools that you can use for email marketing. If you're doing it in-house, there is MailChimp, Constant Contact. Those are probably the biggest ones, but there's also some other ones like Aweber. Some of these are older. I don't even know if they still exist, honestly, or maybe they merged with one of these other companies. StreamSend, GetResponse, iContact, things like that. So are you leveraging email marketing? Just think about it. Are we emailing people out there that have contacted us before? Send an email after every service call requesting a review. And this kind of goes into the automation for reviews. If you already have the automated service set up, they're going to get an email and a text message about giving you a 5-star review if they got 5-star service. So really, really important, right? To make this go out no matter what. You don't have to do it manually because that does take some time, but a manual phone call or something to remind them is always good too. Send them an email a few days after service asking them to engage on social media. Hey, here's our Facebook page. Can you click on here, give us a review, or like one of our photos or something? Send out a monthly email newsletter to remain top of mind and drive more repeat and referral business. This is something we do with our domination program because you want to make sure you're marketing to your previous customer base, current customer base too, with a monthly email newsletter, just an awareness email. Hey, this is us doing a job, over at the church. We just removed, 2 trees and trimmed other ones, to make the parking lot more safe, and you can kind of show them an example of that. And then a couple of images, and then, hey, need an estimate? Give us a call, that type of thing. And then maybe some kind of monthly, whatever the holiday is that month, like Happy So-and-so Day or something like that. That just, you're just constantly touching your customer database. And next, which is similar, is text marketing. Now, neither one of them is probably more important than the other, but the good thing about text marketing is that it gets a 98% open rate. So think about that. Almost everybody that receives your text, basically everybody that receives your text is going to see it. They're going to open it and they're going to know it just came in. That's massive, right? Even if they don't call you or not, but you can offer them like some sort of, incentive. Like, hey, we appreciate your past business. Here's your 25% off coupon for tree services if you spend over $1,000. Call our company today to schedule your free estimate, right? Something like that. You can just do those quarterly, seasonally, like every spring, summer, fall, winter. It's good to kind of just send those out. You don't want to do them every month because make it a little bit cumbersome, if you do it too often, or may kind of rub people the wrong way. But once a quarter is not too much. So you can send a text out after every form submission on your website or Google Ads landing page. You can send a text a few days after service asking them to engage on social media, kind of similar to the email, but this is on text. Send a text asking for a 5-star review after they have paid their invoice to build up your reviews. And this is what we do for a large majority of our customers, is that when somebody pays a Jobber invoice, Single Ops, some of them, they have to just send us a Excel spreadsheet of like their last 20 customers, and then we'll just upload it in the system and then start the triggering for the review request there, because some of those CRMs don't integrate with the review platforms. But either way, you can get them out there. And I mean, it just really helps. We've got clients that have gone from like 30 reviews to 250 reviews in just a year or two, right? And that's massive because now you're head and shoulders above the rest of the crowd and you're just going to get more calls. And then text also, like we mentioned before, has a 98% open rate. So a really big deal, right? Next, are you leveraging direct mail? This is just ways that you can continue to get calls coming in, continue to brand your company. Now, with direct mail, the good thing is they don't even have to be searching. They don't even have to be wanting to get tree service, but they're going to open their mailbox every day to go see what bills they have or, spam mail they've got in the mailbox. So they're going to see your direct mail piece, right? And we've done postcards, we do flyers. We have like an all-inclusive package and program for direct mail with 5,000 flyers, 10,000 flyers, and beyond, depending on the tree service company. But these really help because now they're seeing you in the mailbox. They're getting your emails. When they do a Google search locally or any kind of search locally, they're going to find you there. When they log into social media, there's your retargeting ad, there's your postings. You get the picture, like people are seeing you dozens and dozens of times a month or a quarter. So they're going to know who they want to call when it's time to give you a call. And it just goes viral. Like you've heard the term from Warren Buffett or any investor, compound interest. Well, it's pretty similar with marketing. It starts compounding and it builds up momentum over the months and over the years. The more and more that you do, the more and more people you've touched and talked to and continue to get your mailings, your emails, your texts. They see you everywhere on searches, on social media. That's compound marketing. And people are going to see you so many times, they're just going to know who they're going to call. Right. So I just hopefully that leaves an impression on you. I mean, we do the same thing here at our agency, right? So the more marketing, the more advertising and strategic places, the better off your business is going to be, period. So send, to your target zip codes that can afford your services, right? You don't want to send it perhaps everywhere, but the best zip codes. You can sort, with some list providers. A lot of times you do EDDM because it's lower cost per unit. So, you just got to be mindful. Some of those leads aren't going to be great if it goes to the entire zip code, but sometimes you have to do it that way. And then, you can send out monthly postcards or flyers to remain top of mind and drive more repeat and referral business. Next is, are you leveraging yard signs? Now, this is a big one and it's really inexpensive. You can get 100 yard signs. I think dirtcheapsigns.com is a good sign company. There's several other ones too, but you can go to some of those and I think they have a package for 100 18 by 24 large signs and the stakes for about $350. So if you could put out 100 signs a month in customer yards, on the street corners, in busy intersections. Now, mind you, there are sign ordinances in a lot of areas, so you got to be mindful of that. But at least put them in the customer yards because some of these neighborhoods have 100, 200, 400 houses, right? And so that many people are going to see your sign, or at least, a fraction of those people, depending on where they live in the neighborhood, are going to see your sign and they're going to assume that you probably did good work. So they're going to give you a call. So those really can produce good calls too. So this is just an example, have your logo big, your services, and then the phone number really large where they can't miss it, right? You could also put a QR code on there too. And then somebody could scan that and give you a call from the QR code. But yard signs do work very, very well. The next thing is now we went through all the marketing channels that you can be doing, and then also wrapped trucks. That's also a good thing to do because your truck's continuously driving around the area. The biggest marketing issue sometimes facing tree service and tree care companies is unconverted leads. So you might be getting the leads or getting the calls, but is lead flow really the problem with your business? Remember, we looked at that conversion ratio with the company only converting 30 out of 100 and the company converting 70 out of 100 leads? This is where it's such a big deal, and it really shows you visibly like how much that matters. So when you look here, Google local service ads, Google ads, Bing ads, Facebook ads, Nextdoor, reviews, Google Maps, like you're getting all these leads, but if you're not answering the phone sometimes, or you're not able to call everybody back, just business capacity, or you don't have somebody like filling that role specifically for your company, then, a lot of those leads leave unconverted. They call, they get the voicemail. They don't leave a message. They don't call back. And then an hour later, you try to call them, but they don't answer, right? So they've already called another tree company that did answer the phone. So it's a hard reality. And it's kind of harsh to kind of hear that sometimes when like the marketing agency is letting you know, like, hey, there's a lot of missed calls. There's probably some that are unconverted. And it is what it is. Like everybody's at a different stage of their business. But the sooner you can get somebody to answer calls live and just really monitor inbound leads and get back and respond to them very quickly, you will make a humongous difference in conversion and revenue in your company. And so a lot of times people fill out the website forms, people don't call them back, but maybe like 3 hours later or something like that, right? You get a lead in your email, but you're on a job site with a customer and your crew's doing the work and you got a lead and it takes you 3 hours to get done with that job, and you finally call this lead back, but they don't answer, or they forgot they even submitted it anyway, right? So the quicker you can get back to them, the better. And here's why. Leads that are not followed up within 15 minutes go cold. Again, I'm the same way. Like if I submit something on a website, after doing that, 7 other things happen in my life, right? I'm answering another email. I just got a phone call. I had to go do something with the dog, whatever. You forgot that you submitted that form 30 minutes ago on somebody's website, right? So when you get a call, you don't even know what the call is for, so you don't answer. That's what happens with people that come to your website too. So you got to answer it quickly or get back with people very, very quickly. And the average customer should be followed up with 5 to 7 times. This is where the automation with emails and text really help continue to butter that bread until they finally call, right? Today's consumer prefers to interact via text message versus phone call or email as well. So text is really powerful. You learn to master that too. So that's the solution, is leverage marketing automation to follow up with web forms within the first 30 seconds of submitting the web form via phone, email, and text message. Big deal. Automate the follow-up so that every prospect is touched 5 times and able to engage via two-way text messaging. Anybody has any questions, pop them in there. Again, I'll go through this simple math again. This is the same example that we had earlier, right? You want to convert them. I mean, it's the difference of like double the revenue. Same thing, 100 leads, 30% conversion rate, or 100 leads and 70% conversion rate, right? You got 80,000 in revenue versus 35,000, 34,000 in revenue. That's a big difference right there. That's huge. That could be the difference between a big, massive month or a slow month, right? So are you leveraging email and marketing automation? Are you following up with your leads within 5 minutes? Do you have conversion campaigns in place? Where you can kind of continue to market these people over and over? Do you have a database with your customers' email addresses and phone numbers? Are you sending out a monthly email newsletter? Are you leveraging email to get online reviews and draw customers into your social media profiles? Are you leveraging text marketing to get appointments booked and leads followed up with? All these things make a huge difference in the amount of revenue and the amount of predictability you can have in spending the money on marketing. You want to spend more when you can monetize those leads. Do you have the tools in place to track your ROI? Right? Again, this is what we go through. This is our accelerated growth model. Attract the customers, convert the customers, and then maximize the lifetime value of those customers. And that's how you do it. So what are your top action items, right? We just went through all the marketing strategy, how to bring in the local customers to your tree service business. And guys, this works, right? If you're doing all of these channels, this works very, very well. We've proven it hundreds of times over. I was just at the TCI Expo in St. Louis, and one of our clients came up to us. I was speaking with him for a while. His company went from around $1 million in revenue in 2024, started working with us a little over a year ago. And in 2025, they did over $2 million in revenue. So they doubled their business essentially because now they've got a full harnessed marketing program in place, predictable lead flow. And again, he got some good contracts with like local municipalities and things like that, but it's still a lot more revenue coming in from different channels too. So we're going to do a video testimonial on that pretty soon coming up, but it's exciting. It's great when we hear that too from our customers. It's awesome. It means things are working. All right, I think we got a couple of questions here. What are my thoughts on AI receptionists? So you know what? We have implemented the AI receptionist a few times. We've had mixed results. So we've implemented the AI inbound call taker. And I think the best practice on that, Tegan, would be to mention it at the beginning of the prompt for the AI answering service. Like, hey, this is XYZ Tree Services virtual receptionist. Can I get a few details from you really quick and we'll schedule an appointment? Maybe just by prefacing and saying up front that this is AI receptionist maybe works better for people that will actually talk to it. But what we experienced was there's a large amount of hangups when they heard that voice, if that makes sense. So we kind of, some clients kept it, some clients did not. They'd just rather answer it live or pay a little bit more for an answering service type thing because it's a person answering the phone and they could tell it's a person versus a AI receptionist. So it could work. I would say test it, and tweak the prompting. And maybe just letting people know this is a virtual receptionist, right? We got to get a couple details and then we'll get the arborist on the phone with you. Or we'll schedule with an office manager, but can I get a couple details first? And then that way, that AI receptionist gets these details of the job, and then that whole transcription goes over to who's taking that call live afterwards. Um, so hopefully that answers your question there. It does, it can work. It's tricky because people don't want to talk to a computer. It's the same thing when you call the cell phone company or your cable company or your TV company. You're always getting an automated attendant. So, if you can answer it live, that's definitely preferred, but AI receptionist can work. It can save you some time. All right. Anybody else have any questions before we wrap up? All right. Candace has one more question. Yeah, sure. Let's see. However, we have gone from receiving regular calls on Google to absolutely no calls, regardless of the amount of money we are willing to spend. Any insight? There's so many moving parts to Google Guaranteed, the Google local service ads. I would make sure you've opened up your message lead option, because what we've seen is when you open up the message lead option instead of just phone calls, you will get more leads on both sides, more phone calls and more message leads, because for some reason Google is preferring the ones with message leads. Also, go in and toggle between zip code targeting and city targeting. We have to test this in some markets. Sometimes the city targeting, if you just put in like city, state, city, state, city, state, all the places you're willing to serve, sometimes that does not work as well. And then we go back and change it and put in all the zip codes you want to target. That works better. It just depends. Make sure you're getting a ton of reviews on your Google business profile. They did have an algorithm update recently on local service ads where they changed a little bit of the interface, and now they're showing a little bit different result based on the user's behavior. So they're kind of tracking what that person's done over the last 30 to 60 days, and they're showing a little bit different result on local service ads than they did before. They announced this probably September timeframe. So we've seen a little slowdown in some markets on certain local service ad campaigns, but some of them are still humming right along. And then also we're getting into the slow season too, Candace. So I'm not sure. Hopefully that answers your questions. But a lot of the Google local service ads is reviews, 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 and then enabling the messaging feature. But yeah, what are some of the actions that you guys want to take, right? Write them down. Maybe you notice something that you have a gap in, you need to fix, right? So here's what we covered today. We set clear goals and targets for the year. Realign your KPIs and tracking to achieve outcomes that you want, whatever your goals are. Map out your plan for accomplishment. Your budget, your channels, the important trends, sets you up for massive success in 2026 and beyond, right? So here's some of the testimonials we have. You can go to treeservicedigital.com, and the testimonials page has these video testimonials on there. This is Nadia with Eco Tree Experts down in Palm Beach, Robbie with Starwood Tree Service up in Ohio. And we appreciate you guys giving us testimonial. It helps so much. Thank you so much for your business. And you guys can read through some of those, but they've really grown. This company's grown from less than 500K up to about $3 million over the last 4 or 5 years. We've been a part of their growth with their digital marketing and everything else, their whole program plugged in. Robbie had an excellent rated, awesome tree service business when he came on board with us 3 years ago or so, really doing well, growing, now has like 2 full-time crews. So we appreciate our customers. And, again, if you need a marketing partner that knows what they're doing and will get everything done for you with lots of data, lots of experience in this niche, we'd love to talk to you, right? There's a QR code here. I don't know if you can scan that since you guys are on digital. I had this on a different slide I did at the TCIA Expo on a breakout room presentation, but it may still work if you can see it and you can scan it. But yeah, we'll give you a free online marketing plan review to see where any gaps you have are. We're happy to do that. We do these all day, every day. One of our team members will kind of show you where you're at, where you want to go. And you can call us at the office, 770-637-3707, or you can schedule on our schedule page there, treeservicedigital.com/schedule. It's on the website too. If you just go to treeservicedigital.com, you can find it there. But yeah, let's talk. So glad you guys spent some time with me today. Really appreciate your time. I know time's valuable. Hopefully you got some good nuggets out of this. We'll upload this also to the YouTube channel and send out a replay next week. And maybe even do this one live again in a few weeks, because it's always a big deal for people's budgeting for the next year, kind of around this time. So hope everybody has a great December. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. If you guys need anything, just reach out. All right. Thanks so much for being here today. And we'll see you on the next one. Have a good one, guys.